Today I got Devin Mcelfish with me with the Castlerock Group. He's one of our newest partnerships to join LPT Realty. So we want to introduce him to our audience, the community, the network, and then just kind of get to know him and what he's about, what he saw with LPT Realty. Also have Stephen Myers here with Urban Cool Homes, one of the highest ranked top teams at EXP that recently moved to LPT Realty as well, and a partner and a good friend of mine for a while. But I'm gonna let this discussion kind of go on and just have it be kind of an open forum a little bit for you, Devin, to kind of introduce yourself, what you do, and then what you saw at LPT Realty. So appreciate you having on with everything. How's Devin doing today?
Doing well. It's been a whirlwind. I know you saw, we did our official announcement yesterday,
Yeah.
official social media announcement. But we've been going through onboarding for about a week, 2 weeks now, working through that process, and kind of just getting a feel for everything. But it's been exciting. Definitely no complaints. LPT's made it super easy for us and kind of rocking and rolling.
So I think the burning question on everyone's mind is like, what made you switch? Like, what did Devin see personally that you can tell from your perspective that saw it a necessary move to make a switch?
Yeah, I get a lot of people have asked me that. We were at the previous brokerage, same brokerage together. And I was the type that would have had that logo tattooed on me as much as I love that company, as far as, where I'd been, what I'd done. Um, Real estate in general, like I really liked how they changed the model from the franchise owners to the agents. I think that was revolutionary in our industry. Um, but I also have a responsibility to like my agents on my team. I run a smaller team out of Virginia,
Yep.
6, 7 agents. And at some point, as a team leader, I think you guys both feel this as well. We're responsible for them just as much as we are us, and making sure that we're putting them in the best situation. And the model that we were currently in, I didn't think gave them the value that LPT did once I actually started looking at it. I had heard rumbles about LPT about a year ago. In Virginia, both of our brokers left and went to LPT to be brokers. Both of them were people that helped me open my branch office there, that were kind of integral in helping me there get going. And so that was the first I had heard of it. And didn't quite pay attention to it. And then, you know, as the year went on, they start getting some growth. You start seeing some other people make switches. Um, I saw you guys make the switch, which, Ben and I, we've connected at multiple events in the past, and
Yep.
I've utilized you and leaned on you for some resources as far as technology in our space, and
Yeah.
have really benefited from that. And, when saw you and Stephen make that move, it was kind of exciting and definitely raised some questions. And then, there was somebody here that I was talking to as well, that runs an independent brokerage, and they made the switch about a week after you guys did, which really opened my eyes. And I said, I need to look at this. What's going on? What am I missing? And once I sat down and analyzed it and looked at how it helped my agents automatically saved like $4,000 right off the top, because they can go to that business builder model where they're
Yep.
paying just 500 a transaction. I can still participate in rev share if I so choose, which I do. And it kind of gave them the opportunity, one, to save more money on their cap every year, because one of the things that kind of you realize is not everybody wants to recruit.
Yeah.
And I think out of my
Majority of people don't.
downline, and it's not
Like
easy
70% of
either.
people don't.
Yeah, and it's not easy. I think I looked at my downline. I don't have a big downline. It was like 30 people, but I think 3 people had actually recruited somebody,
Right.
and nobody on my team, well, one person on my team had. But so for them, the benefit was more like, okay, let me kind of lower your cap and give them that choice. They don't have to, pay more to do that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of one of the big ones, the responsibility to my team members to put them in what I feel is the best situation for them and their families to be successful. And then, opportunity. I think, we have all seen and talked about the opportunity to align myself with people like you and Steven.
Yep.
I think the neat thing is that you don't have to have just one sponsor. I was able to align with you guys, and align with the local person I had spoke with to kind of really enhance my business, one locally to have a group to kind of run with and build here, And
Yep.
then one, like you guys, I mean, we were supposed to start what, a half hour ago, and we spent the last 30 minutes talking about tech, like,
Yeah, we
and
get lots of, we
systems,
get
so,
nerded out on that online lead stuff. So everything
yeah,
marketing and digital, we're all about it. So, and LPT
yeah.
is definitely in line with a lot of that, not kind of holding us back, but go ahead, keep going. I'll let you keep going.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was kind of, kind of what I'd gotten to I made kind of a quick move, quick decision, and haven't looked back, and I've had a lot of success. I've had a lot of people reaching out, curious, growth. I've had, I think, about 20 people sign up,
Nice.
just in the last 2 weeks without going live.
There you go.
Had a couple Facebook messages this morning of people wanting to chat after my post yesterday. So it's,
Sure.
I think the intrigue is there. And from what I've seen and where I think this could go, I think it's the right move.
There's like three things I picked up from that, where it's like, one, just the cap structure makes the most sense for your agents, and honestly, most agents in the field, just the pay structure goes out with it. Like two,
Mhm.
it's the marketing and advertising that we all know like runs good businesses and where things are at currently, and having a brokerage that's in line with that. And then three, like making the transition from your old brokerage to the new one, because that seems to always be the biggest like question, concern that people have is like, what's it like switching? Like, is it really better over there? Like, I see the opportunity, but is it worth it based on like what you're seeing? So
Yeah.
I think those three things is what I'm picking up on. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just it's better for your agents. Like you see that it works marketing, advertising wise, and then the long term opportunity with it all. And I think Steven, you kind of saw some of that too, and you guys have similarities as far as team structure and size wise, because I'm on a little different level as an agent, and I see things differently than you guys do. But I'd be curious to have you guys speak on like what's best for your agents and the pay structure and how you can better serve them and lead them in those opportunities.
Well, I think Devin had it just right. I mean, I think, even for us, like, I was a mega icon team. So, he has his agents at the 8K cap, but my agents had the 4K cap, but which was beneficial. So it's a very much like a shift over that's very similar from the agent standpoint, but you don't want to make it feel like the agents, have to basically be on your team in order to like stay in real estate. You want them to
Yeah,
have an option, like, and as a team leader, you want to be able to like, hey, I'm going to focus on giving as much value as possible to make sure that they don't leave, right? Because
yeah,
it's easy for them if I'm not providing value. Hey, I can go stay on this 5K, $500 per transaction fee system, but obviously that's not, that's not the goal of running a team. And I mean, and I'm sure Devin's seen it as well as I, when someone leaves your team from EXP and they have to go up to the 16K cap, they usually bounce the brokerage, right? They usually are like, hey, I don't want to go spend 16,000. I don't see the value in it. If I'm not going to run a team, I'm going to go to a cheaper model, whether it's a flat fee model somewhere local or another cloud brokerage or whatever. And so it's really frustrating when you're like, okay, well, these people could have been a nice, I still would like to provide mentorship, and it sucks that they leave the team and they feel like they have to leave because they need to go get a better split somewhere else. So, and I don't blame them, because it's a big, for especially for me, going from 4 to 16K, but going from 8 to 16K, I mean that's dramatic difference, right?
Yeah.
And so the fact that you can kind of stay on that plan, stay on that 5K plan, where your expenses are going to be. It's better for the agent. I think it's better for the team lead. I think it keeps us team leaders more accountable. Like, we have to provide value, right? It's not
right.
just like, oh, you join my team so you get a lower cap, right? I mean, and that's what some team leads have been, that's what they teach, right? I mean, I think there's some teams in EXP that are just solely doing that. Which is why, some of the things that EXP has come around to make it a little bit more challenging to do that. But yeah, I mean, I think Devin, hit the nail on the head on that approach, right? So, I mean, that was a big thing for me. And then the fact that you do get the same benefits as any other agent, right? Like, I mean, you don't, if you're on the 5K plan, you don't get the revenue share, but everything else is the same. You get everything else. You get the stock options, you get the potential to do revenue share later if you want to switch over. If you do recruit paid people, but like you said, 90% of people at EXP, I think, have one or less people that they've recruited to the brokerage. So it's, like, when people lead with revenue share, it's really leading the top 100 people in the company and not
Yeah.
not
Not
most
everyone.
most agents, most people in EXP, most people in Real, most people in LPT. They're going to make their money on selling homes, and that's
Right.
where brokerages need to focus versus how to help agents sell more homes.
Yeah. And we saw the value there. I mean, as the more and more that we were at, the previous brokerages, you kind of like are able to see like the people that really succeed at the revenue share option are like your big team leaders, your social media, influencers, your coaches that already have, lots of connects. And to get kind of the big stuff, I mean, there are some one-offs. I'm not going to say that's all of them, but I mean, I think, you have to be really good at that. And most agents, aren't, that they're, the real estate agents that are used to selling houses. And
You don't
like
even
one
want
of
to be
the,
like,
it's
they're not
funny.
even trying to play that game. Like,
Yeah, and it's funny because like one of the things that almost like sealed me is like, so I was talking to my team about possibly making this move, and one of my like senior agents on my team who's been with me since I started it, who I value her opinion. She's been in the business a very long time, way before me. She actually sent me a YouTube video comparing one of these YouTube guys was, doing they had gone from EXP to Real to LPT to back to EXP, and I'm like,
yeah, way
like,
too many.
come on, man. Like, and then, but it's funny, like they were trying to counter LPT by saying, well, you can't, the business builder, you won't make as much money, but because if you compare it to EXP and you recruit five agents, then you'll make more money. And I was like, well, wait a minute. I already know how difficult that is to do.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
to say that that's the better option to me was like, no, well, you could just be a business builder and save yourself money.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
and that's like even the case, right? Like I mean, with EXP, you have the, and again, a lot of the other brokerages, right? Like you have like the icon or whatever similar on the other brokerages, but it's like, well, you have to spend the 21,000 or $22,000 in whatever it is, the 16K cap plus the $5,000 in transaction fees to qualify for icon, and then they give it back to you in stock that you don't necessarily get for 3 years, and you have to do other things to incur it, but okay, well, or you could just do the $5,000 flat fee and then you save your $16,000 right there, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, so it's like it's hard to like really, for me, it's really hard to justify if you're just a solo agent, like why it doesn't make sense, right? Like, yeah, if you have a huge network, right, and you have, thousands of people, and it's going to be a harder proposition for you to switch. But at the
Yeah.
same point, there's a lot of people that have those kind of downlines that have, or potential downlines, and have switched, right? There's already people, even though LPT has 10,000 agents, there's already people that have over 1,000 agents underneath them. So, and they've made a switch from a previous, revenue share model. So they obviously see the benefit, because I think kind of what we've seen is like you kind of get to a certain point, in terms of like how much influence you have, and then you kind of stay at that point because people are constantly kind of cycling in and out, right? But I think
Mhm.
it's stickier, so people are gonna, it's gonna be harder to like leave, because it's such a good model for an individual agent, but it's also a really good model for a team.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it works for every level depending on where you're at. And I think so many agents, when they first get in, are trying to figure out, where am I at? Like, do I want to be a big team builder? Do I want to be a high producing agent? Do I just want to be referral status? Because I think a lot of people get into real estate and figure out like, okay, I don't really want to be an agent. Like they kind of quit like real estate, period. Like not even necessarily just quit the
Mhm.
brokerage or the team. They're like, this industry isn't meant for me, but I want to keep my license and I don't want to keep getting a monthly fee. I don't want to have to pay like a ton for 1 or 2 deals that I do a year, but I want to keep my license. I want to stay involved. I don't want to be in it. So it's like we just saw that. And I think LPT saw that, where it's like they built a model that matches where the field's at, like where
Right.
people are at, where the agent's at. So you can be flexible and you have options and they're very adjustable. Like what we've traditionally ran into is a lot of, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that at brokerages, where LPT is going like, yes, we can do that. How can we shift this and make this to where it works for you? On
Right.
everything. I think he did a really good job of starting that and getting that like attitude going of how do we best serve the agent, and that leadership attitude trickled all the way down for us to our agents, to our clients. And we're seeing LPT really be in alignment with that. Steve, I'd be curious to have you speak on like marketing, advertising, online leads, and how important that is in today's like environment, like whether you're working SOI or any of that, and kind of Devin, what you're seeing from the marketing advertising standpoint that LPT can allow and provide for everything. So go ahead and take it away on that.
Well, I think it's, I think it's important whether it's, even your own database, right? Like I think a lot of people, they kind of get in real estate and don't understand the importance of like a CRM and understand the importance of like, hey, let's generate some leads. And I mean, sometimes those leads can just be people that you're, friends with on Facebook or your family or neighbors or whatever it is. But the thing of it is like it's about treating everyone the same, right? So like we want to make sure they're set up on, e-alerts and if they have a home, like they're getting home value updates. So I think it's a big thing that agents just don't understand. There's a lot of agents out there. I mean, I think we all know them, right? There's a lot of agents that are really successful, that use their cell phone for their business, right? But as the world keeps evolving, like that's going to get harder and harder to really do because there's more companies, not just agents, right? There's companies that are coming into the space like
Right.
Zillow, Mojo, Homes.
Homes.com. Yeah.
Like all these corporations are coming in, and so everyone's vying for eyeballs. So you want to make sure that you have, your people set up on your, where the eyeballs are going to you, and that they understand that you are the center of influence for them for real estate decisions. And then obviously accumulate people over time, right? So, and just keep building your database. I mean, we've all here have databases on this call, right? We all started with one person in our database. Now we know I think I have like 85,000, right? I know you guys have good data size databases as well, but it all started with one, right? And then it's like you just slowly build and build and build. And over time, like everyone you have a real estate conversation with, put them in the database, right? Like it's just building those habits. And then, and then making sure that you are marketing to them, whether it's email, text, retargeting ads, all that kind of stuff. Like we want to make sure we stay, but then also keep filling that up with more people. So
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, one of the big things, and I didn't even touch too much on it yet, was the marketing pieces that, LPT gives as well. I mean, it's the power packs, and I know that, some people used to make fun of it at the old company about, like a white box, but as I looked at it, I was like, that's actually going to save me some money, as far as what they're giving and providing in that. So I think that's huge. I think that's huge for my agents and their listing appointments. And then as far as the tech stack that they're providing for free, the dot loop, the lofty chime access, for free, no monthly fees or anything that, I mean, I think, like I said, it goes back to kind of what your agents can get out of it for me and for them to have access to this kind of stuff, marketing, I think it can do nothing but help them. So.
yeah, no, and I mean, I think I think you're right. Like, I think people can make fun of the power pack, which I don't know how you could really make fun of it, but like, it works. Like, I mean, I started like, I want to start lead by example. So like, I've been doing some open houses and I, took a couple of them open houses and people are grabbing the material and like, man, this is great. Like, I like it, and you're just like, yeah, I paid $20 to have it delivered to my house. Like for me to
Right.
have to at a print shop, like it would cost me a lot more money, right?
Right.
And it would be more inconvenient. Like I literally, I think it took me about 5 minutes to go online and order it, and it was delivered within 3 days, right? So like it was easy, simple. I didn't have to really think about it, and people were grabbing the stuff there. So and like like Ben and I've talked about this, but I think this post-COVID world, we've gone in this AI world that we live in. Everything is becoming so digitalized, but people still want stuff in their hands, and people still want to get mail, and people like we've kind of going back to like when we first got in. When I first got in, I would have not been like, oh my gosh, like why would I want even to print off something, right? Like, because I was just like, I'm the new kid, I'm going to do everything digital, right? I'm going to run the Facebook ads, I'm going to do all that stuff. But then you start to see like people want this stuff to hand out. Like even the sellers, like they want material that they can hand out to their friends and their family, so that they can show like, hey, my house is listed. Look at my real estate agent. Look at what they created for me. Like it's nice stuff. So it's really kind of crazy, like how how good it is. Like I was really kind of blown away. I don't usually get impressed too much by stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was as well once I actually, put my eyes on it and saw it, and how I could utilize it in our business.
So it seems
Yeah.
like, I mean, just from what I've seen at LPT is that they have everything you need to make it. Like it gives everyone a shot, like a chance. Whereas like some of these different places, you're kind of like, I don't really feel like I got a shot because I don't have the tools, I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the education, I don't have the insight. Where it seems like LPT is kind of opening the door to give you options and availability, but then also like with our network, you got access to Devin, you got access to Steve, you got access to myself, like and everyone else above us, to where it's like, it's not just here's the tools, here's how to use them, here's how we use them, how do you want to use them, and actually getting you like in the best position possible to actually make it in this like low success like industry where it's very hard to make it. Like let's give you every single tool we can to make it. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I first started, like this thing was a big guessing game, and it just seemed like such a mystery around marketing, advertising, leads, systems, like what works, what doesn't. And like you said, you have 100 coaches telling you to do it all these different ways, as opposed to like, why don't you talk to the agents that are actually doing it? And so it's putting a lot more of that influence in the agent seat, as opposed to all these talking heads or influencers. People are so far removed. It's like, when's the last time you actually sold a house? Like, in what way did you do it? Like on everything. So, and so it's cool to see like both the new world and the old school world like married together now with everything, and LPT really supporting that on everything. So Devin, as far as people reaching out to you, working with you, us, like what does that look like for you? How do you want people to support you, discuss with you, and where do you see them going next about like potentially switching brokerages, talking to you, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty open. If I don't know somebody, they'll usually reach out social media wise, Facebook. I don't consider myself any type of influencer. I'm a more like kind of a humble. I don't have a huge following by any means on any channel. Mine's all been kind of organic, more with people that know me, and know how I work and come across. So yeah, through Facebook usually is I just got a Facebook message as we're on here. Somebody'd like to talk tomorrow.
There you go. See, it works.
Yeah, and or myself, give me a call. So
Okay. Steven, how about yourself? For anybody watching in here, how do you want them to connect with you and all that?
Yeah, just either shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram. I mean, I'm always, responding, and if you want to set up a chat or whatever, then people more than happy. I mean, I think Devin kind of had the same experience I did. Is you roll it out to your team and you're like, you don't know how they're going to take it, and basically everyone that saw it was like, how fast can we do this, right?
right.
Like you see, like it's once you kind of get it, it's like, okay, like this is something that we need to do.
So real quick before we go, I think that's one of people's biggest hesitation or concern is that transition. Can you both speak to like what your transition's been like so far as like the process and your experience with that, just from your insight? Like, because we know in theory, but what's your personal experience with it? Switching.
Yeah, so ours has been pretty easy. We've the team made the switch. From what I've gone through, everybody does an orientation call, which it's not just the team leader and me trying to learn it in orientation and trying to bring other people on. Like every one of my agents, as they signed their ICAs, they went through an orientation call that kind of explains all the stuff behind LPT Connect. So that they have that there and they get that going pretty quickly after you sign. And then as far as they've been super helpful with getting my signs, they jumped on it quickly. We had listings coming up that I needed to make action on. They jumped in there and helped with marketing. We've had, like I said, several other team leaders that will be making this jump here shortly, and they've been on helping and answering questions and making that move as easy process for them as well. So a lot of just help wherever you need it. There wasn't anybody that I sent an email to or called that didn't get back to me right away. And it's nice to have that kind of support.
Yeah, I was really impressed how good of a concierge team they had for transferring and personal connection with people. Like, and that speaks volumes from leadership all the way down to agents to clients and consumers. I mean, Steven, what was your experience? Because you moved a lot of business over. How much business did you move over to give people an idea?
Yeah, I mean, so we did 555 transactions last year, and we have about 60 people on our team. So So yeah, so I mean, that was a big worry of mine, like that, even when I was originally approached with LPT about a year ago, like I was like, that seems like a lot of work. But you know, they like Devin said, like they were really great. I mean, EXP was great as well. They've been easy to work with. We had about 80 some transactions pending with them when we left. They've been easy to help get us, get those closed out. They've made it convenient for us. And then LPT's made it really convenient to come over. I mean, we're there, we've been there about since the middle of January. We've already closed like 20 transactions with them, and we have about another 90 some pending with them right now. So, so it's been an easy transition. I mean, they're always a little bit of a learning curve, especially for us, because we were really the first team and we were the first agents in the state to really open up. So, kind of them learning Kansas and some of the idiosyncrasies here. That's been a little bit, but like again, we've had nothing but tons of support, help. They've all wanted to solve anything that we kind of see come up right away, and like it's been a much easier transition than any of the other transitions I've made. This is, I don't know, broker number 4, number 5, and this was the easiest one. So
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, because some of those have been painful in the past. So I definitely get people's fear and hesitation, like it's scary and painful. So
yep.
well, I appreciate you guys having on today and your insight on everything. Hopefully everybody got a lot of value out of this. If you want to talk to any of us directly, just shoot us a message. We're super available for things, and appreciate you watching. We'll hopefully talk to you soon. See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.